Let's get more into the story here and whether or not it is fixed. Cross-assets reporter for Asia, Eric Lam, is here with us in our studio. Eric, how significant, or I guess valid, are these concerns that the VIX might be fixed?
Well, I mean, the concerns, there's a lot at stake here, obviously, because as you guys mentioned, everyone's been talking about volatility this year. There's billions in trades connected to those volatility, to the VIX as a measure of investor anxiety and also as a measure of wider market sentiment. So there's a lot at stake here. A lot of people pay very close attention to what the VIX does, and anytime you have any questions about the validity of the VIX, well, then it kind of calls into question a lot of things about how people determine what direction the market is moving in.
Yeah, and trading volatility, right? But what tactics are they looking at in particular?
Yeah,
how does it work?
So in terms of actually gaming the VIX, there's kind of an idea of when you look at monthly or the daily price for the VIX, it's based on quotes of S&P 500 futures options, exactly. Options, but there's a weekly settlement, and there's a settlement that's used on a Wednesday. I think it's the third Wednesday of every month that they use to calculate the settlement price for fixed futures contracts for the following month. Okay. And there's a paper done last year, basically kind of spelled out that right around the day of that settlement, there's a lot of kind of anomalous trading that happens where the VIX is kind of moving along in a steady line, and all of a sudden that day there's a huge spike up or a huge spike down. And what it seems like is that people may be kind of gaming or putting a lot of bids into the market to actually drives the price and changes it just for that day. It's basically kind of paying off a couple of $1 million to ensure that their futures contracts pay off, basically.
So it's almost, if I can make an analogy, a fairly direct one, LIBOR, and you have that fixing at a time of the day, and that's when it's sort of, well, you go, what's happening there?
Yeah. Some, conspiracy theorists or market observers have made similar comparisons.
How has the CBOE responded, though?
Well, the CBOE has said that all along they've maintained that they pay very close attention to any threat of manipulation, and that they don't think that there has been any manipulation. They think that a lot of these trades can be explained by natural trading, particularly that traders might be replacing their options or their futures contracts with options. So, they say that it's natural trading, but people will always believe in conspiracy theories, so who knows?
What's next? And I guess just helps understand longer term. Is there a replacement for the VIX in the same way that we're having this conversation over LIBOR and the rival of LIBOR that's surfaced recently? Let's put it that way.
Well, for now, in terms of the investigations, those are preliminary investigations. They haven't made any allegations to CBOE. They haven't said that they've done any wrongdoing. So that's still at an early stage. I think that the CBOE obviously is going to take this very seriously, and if they decide that they need to make any changes, then I'm sure they will, because they've staked out a pretty important part of the market here. They own something that a lot of people pay very close attention to. There's billions tied into these trades, so they have a vested interest in making sure that it's as transparent as possible and the market trusts it.